I can't remember what the title of my session was in the brochure, but I changed it at the last minute when I watched a movie called The Tao of Steve this weekend. Anyone seen that movie? Okay. For those who haven't, it's about this kind of overweight, lazy, pot-smoking guy who somehow managed to get all these women. And he does it by living like Steve McQueen. Like Steve McQueen's the cool guy who always gets the girl without trying, and he comes up with 3 rules about how to engage women successfully. And I thought this would be an interesting reference because typically advertisers in a gaming environment can come off as being the fat drunk guy at a party. So I'm going to attempt to frame kind of do's and don'ts about social gaming, advertising social gaming, by referencing the Tao of Steve. And the Tao goes like this. 3 rules. 1, be desireless, be excellent, and be gone. And you're going to be good. Be desireless. What does that mean? Well, Dex, the lead character in the movie, basically says that you need to eliminate all desire. You need to eliminate all thinking about getting into bed with a girl the first time you meet her. You need to establish a rapport and build dialogue and get to know her. A novel idea. And so I thought about, in a gaming environment, as an advertiser, you need to be desireless. You need to forget about high impact. You need to resist at all, however you can, resist beating someone over the head with your brand in a gaming environment. This is an example of a home screen takeover that was on RuneScape, which is a massively multiplayer game. Talk about a social gaming environment. There's 150,000 players in there, all going on quests and talking to each other at the same time. And basically, the ad came out and shredded the screen as you logged in. And immediately, the feedback that we saw was a little scary. So boy, how annoying is that? I go to log in, and the Wolverine slashes my screen in half. The clickable area of the ad is so huge that I get redirected to some stupid X-Men site. And then death to the Wolverine. That's not something you want people saying about your brand. So be desireless, be smart, don't beat people over the head when you're in a social gaming environment, especially because people talk. Be excellent. Second rule of the Tao of Steve. Do something amazing and excellent in her presence. Stun her with your prowess. And the reason to do this is you need to prove your worth as a man. You need to prove your value and that you can deliver value. And I thought this was appropriate because as an advertiser in a gaming space, it's really important, especially in social space, to do something that the players haven't seen before that's really going to excite them and get them talking in a positive way. And so here's an example of something that we did with Sony Pictures, if I can get this to work, in Free Realms, which is a virtual world with teens. If you can cue the video, we actually made it rain meatballs. That's pretty excellent. And players would be running around in the world, and they'd get a weather broadcast saying, hey, it's raining meatballs in the forest. Go there, get as many meatballs as you can, and you'll unlock a special chef's hat that will give you secret powers in the cooking game. And with every meatball storm, there were new items that were unlocked. And what we saw on the forums and message boards, and even in the game itself, was players were running around. One of the quests would turn you into a giant meatball and you plop around the world. And so I went in and saw a meatball flopping around, and there were other players hoarding around saying, hey, how did you do that? How did that happen? And then they talk about the movie, and we see it on forums and message boards as well. So stunts in gaming environments are great, especially in social gaming environments. This I actually, we weren't a part of this, but I thought it was a pretty excellent case study. AppSavvy might have brokered this deal. I don't know, Cunningham, where are you? Basically, Universal Studios Home Entertainment built in custom missions, branded missions into Mafia Wars. Obviously a very contextually relevant DVD with Public Enemies. And they essentially introduced missions that would give you cool loot that's associated with the movie. So if there's a prison break scene in the movie, you'd go on the prison break mission and then unlock prison garb for your character. So getting new stuff, new loot, and getting access to new missions is huge for gamers, especially in a social environment where they're coming back every day to see what's new. And if you can steward that newness, it's awesome. Bejeweled Blitz, be excellent in social gaming, give away a car. I mean, over the last 4 weeks, ending last week, Mazda sponsored Bejeweled Blitz, which is one of the top social games on Facebook. And typically, there's weekly tournaments with pretty small nominal prizes, but Mazda came in and every week gave a bigger and bigger prize until the end of March Madness, where they actually gave away a Mazda 3. Great way to add value. The third rule in the Tao of Steve is be gone. This is where it gets tricky for our star, Dex, the character. So once you've built a rapport, you've done something excellent, take off, because falling in love is not cool for the Steve, right? And so this ends up completely blowing up in his face in the movie. And over the course of the movie, falls in love with a girl, and then she figures out that she's being played as just another one-night stand, and she blows him off, and he gets heartbroken. And so this is a lesson. Be gone does not work in a social gaming environment. It doesn't work in life, and it doesn't work in a social gaming environment. And this is an example, a very recent example of Microsoft to promote Bing in Farmville. They actually pulled a stunt on March 2nd, I believe, where if you became a fan of Bing, you get 3 farm cash. And you would literally click on the offer, become a fan of Bing, and then congratulations, you get 3 farm cash in your account. I went to Farmville last night, and there's nothing you can buy for 3 farm cash, so that's kind of not too great. 5 is the minimum threshold. And to me, this is the equivalent of luring someone home with you and then taking off the next morning, which they did. So I went to the fan pages and saw a lot of people posting about the offer, some favorably, some negatively, and then a lot of people who came in after hearing about it, and then the offer wasn't there. And so they were left with a, what gives type feeling about Bing. So if you're gonna be in the space, I think it's really important not to over-incentivize offers. There's a lot of sketchy, let's say, lead generation activities that are happening on offer walls in social gaming environments. And if you actually Google Scamville, you'll see Michael Arrington of TechCrunch busted a lot of these guys. And there's this notion of signing up for offers or generating leads in exchange for currency in these gaming environments. And he discovered that a lot of them were fraudulent, and you need to be careful. Basically, that's the 4th unofficial rule of the Tao of Steve: is be careful where you're playing in a social gaming environment, because there are some nefarious characters on the fringe, and you don't want to associate your brand with that. And so just to wrap up real quick, if you look at the Tao of social games, to boil it down, 1, don't force your brand on gamers. Try and create scenarios wherever you can where players are looking for the advertising because they're going to get some access to cool content. Don't be intrusive. Number 2, add value to the experience. Be buzzworthy. If you do something in a game environment, a social gaming environment, that's cool and that's never been seen before, you're going to get a huge halo on forums and message boards, and you'll get a lot of positive chatter. 3, be committed. I mean, if you're going to be in the space, don't just do a stunt, check a box, and move on to the next thing. I think it's important to develop a long-term strategy for social gaming, owning key genres, figuring out what your demographic is doing in a social gaming environment, and being there on a persistent basis, always trying to create positive, lasting engagement experiences. And then 4, be at the Plaza Suite in about 5 minutes to learn about our new social gaming ad platform at WildTangent. Thank you.